further ado, let's bring on Nathan Frey and let's hear about his weekend. How's it going, Nathan?
Good. How are you guys?
It's another day in paradise is what I like to call it.
Same here.
So let's just jump right into it. Brand new unlimited mod. How's that coming together, and how'd that come about to start with?
A lot of years of planning. This is actually the fourth pulling vehicle I've owned in my lifetime. Had a super modified truck, super farm tractor, open farm stock 30 some years ago. And so the kids got done showing in 4-H last year. We showed heavy hogs, steers, lambs, and goats. And when they got done with their 4-H career, I said I was going to build another tractor. So here we are.
Awesome. So I've been doing a little bit of looking, and I think Marty Wilson pointed me in the right direction. But was that originally a Vinny tractor?
Yeah, it was Ken Vinny's.
And then it went to Knapp's.
And then it went to Knapp's, and we bought it off Chuck Knapp right about a week before Bowling Green last summer, and we started in. So, it was a Knapp tractor. And now
was that just rolling chassis, or did you buy the whole operation?
We bought the rolling chassis, tires and wheels, cross boxes, and then I bought the clutch cans, the computer system, and the clutches and stuff a little bit later off the tractor. And then we built there was used blocks, but we built minor motors for it with brand new SSI superchargers and 1470. It's 1471 superchargers on the machine. And we changed the reverser. We were on SCS reverser now, and made the cage a little wider for me. It was only a 17-inch cage, and we made it 24.
Yeah.
And, a few things like that. Chad Mayhill cut me some new tires for it, and Brad at Modern Machine helped me a lot on the chassis, and Sam McCurry does my engines.
So the
it's totally fried. Our name's fried. The Y name
not fried.
So it's just like Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's totally fried.
So totally fried.
Which a lot of people pronounce it Frey, but it's fried. So it's called Totally Frey'd is the name of the truck. Makes it a little more understandable once you pronounce her name.
Yeah. So coming into the weekend, first hit on a brand new tractor, went out there and just stood her up. Kinsey, I think let's roll the videos now, and then we'll have Nathan talk through his passes and what led up to him and what happened after and changes going into the next night. So, Kinsey?
I'm going to play Fridays first.
All righty. So, slight bit of issue there going from Friday night into Saturday night. Walk us through what happened and what we saw there.
I took off good out of the hole. It felt good and everything, but at one point there, all I could see is engines. I couldn't see anything else, and I thought I was going left harder than I was, and I left out of it, not knowing I was going to blow the front end off of it. What happened? So, it was running good. I probably should have stayed into it, but the tractor's pulling left, and we're going to work on that. They say with high horsepower engines, they want to go left. So we're running all set drawbar and do a few things to try to get it going straight. That's just part of shaking down a new tractor. So
exactly, we even see that on the small stuff with our mini rods, is the way it loads the chassis. So he put the front end back together, changed a couple things around, and laid a nice pass out there, but just nicked that chalk line.
Yeah. Still pulled left hard, but it ran a lot better. Got a little more weight in the nose. The tractor's heavier than what we thought it was when we went across the scales. We're working on moving more weight forward. Just all changes you got to make to get your setup right.
Exactly.
So yeah, we rolled another set of tires on that was 130 pounds lighter than that set tonight. So that'll be 130 more in the box, and we're going to have to move our fuel tanks out front to get more weight in the front. So yeah, no, we dropped the hitch 1/2 inch on Saturday night and lowered the fuel in the tank, so we got a little more weight in the front box, and so it went better. So yeah, no, there's things we want to do to make improvements, but I was a little disappointed that we knocked the front end off and went out of bounds. But overall, we had two pretty good shakedown passes. I'd never pulled the tractor ever before. That was the maiden voyage. So, So we got higher hopes from here on out.
Kinsey, let's get the Saturday video. Much better pass there. The tractor picked up and carried that front end at a reasonably manageable height, and it looked like it was on a pass, but I am confident you guys will get that little bug worked out of it. So talk us through more of what pointed you in the direction of going with a full unlimited mod versus just a regular mod with 4 871s.
My tractor's always been an unlimited mod, so that's what we ended up with. Really, like the 4 engines. Real good friends of Brad Benedict, Kevin Chriswell. They only live about 25 miles from me. Been friends of them for a long time, and I thought about maybe pulling 2 or 3 engines, but then we got the tractor home. It had the gearboxes and everything, and we bought 5 engines, and we just decided we was going to go on Grand National Unlimited. We got a shop, and we farm, and we're busy, and we just want to run 5-6 big pulls a year and be home working the rest of the time. So
what other events are you guys planning on running?
We're planning on running the whole Grand National circuit, and then there's a couple county fairs in Ohio that we can run 3 engines with 1471s, or we might run some Grand National modified. We can drop 1 engine off, and we got a gear reduction box to do that. But I didn't want to do that the very first weekend we had it. But down the road, we're going to run some 3 engine modified with it also.
Yeah, and that's going to be really exciting to see the adaptability, because you don't really see that very much anymore. It used to be where guys were bringing 2 or 3 motors in the mod class, and you'd see them run every single division of the mod, from the light mod all the way up to the unlimiteds. And now it's not really that much as a commonplace anymore.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 guys do it. I mean, there, like you say, at one time there's guys put 2, 3, 4. They just keep bolting motors on. I don't want to jump clear down to 2 engines, but dropping 1 off is not going to be that significant of a deal for us in our set. We're just going to drop it off the side. We ain't going to move it over to the middle.
Yeah,
I'm anxious to run something like that too. SCS made me a gear reduction box to run a little slower gear for 3 engines.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm kind of excited to try that setup too, but we got to get it shook down in the 4 engine first. So
yeah. So walk us through what it took to get that tractor ready leading up to the whole event. You had to hang motors, and then
I got 2 sons in the operation, and they worked about around the clock to get the thing ready to go the last couple of weeks. And family friends was over helping, and took a lot of people and a lot of work to get there. If it wouldn't be for my sons working like beavers on it, we wanted to make it. And
a lot of late nights.
Yeah, and we had to get the pulling trailer around too. And we only fired that thing 3 nights before we pulled it. we worked all year on it. Sam McCurry started on the motors in the fall, and it just takes a long time to get rims, tires, everything gathered up. I am happy with all the vendors I worked with, though. They got me parts, and, we got it together. And, they say a lot of people, it takes 2-3 years to build an unlimited, and we did it in 6 months. So still an expensive piece. We got a lot in the tractor, even using used blocks and used chassis. It's still an expensive tractor.
So when you guys went out there for your first pass, was that just kind of a shot in the dark with your setup, or were there some guys helping you out?
We kind of knew our gearing and stuff like that. We didn't know our weight till we really got across the scales and realized it was a little heavier than what we thought. No, it was just, and I knew there'd be some shakedown issues and stuff. I mean, I'm happy we got it down the track twice, even though I did blow the front end off of it. But, there's always a learning curve. I didn't get real nervous on the line. This is the 4th new vehicle in my career, and I just thought in my head, this is the 4th time we've done this with a new vehicle. There's no use being all nervous about it. Just go out and do the best we can. That's what we said we was going to do from the start, do the best we can, because there hasn't been a new unlimited guy in the sport in probably 12-15 years that I can think.
Definitely for a long time.
12 guys there with me. I was the 13th mod, and all them guys are really professional pullers, well decorated. I mean, them guys are all big league, and it's almost intimidating to part beside all the big names that I've watched all my life, pulling tractors. And Bill Leishner come over Friday night and give me a few pointers. That was real helpful and nice. Bill to kind of, and a lot of the pullers, that tractor's been around so long, they kind of know the tractor pretty well.
Yeah.
And they, there's several guys come over and give me tips and stuff. And so, the pulling community, as far as the unlimited guys, I really love pulling with them guys. They've been great to me, real welcoming and everything. Happy to see a new guy out there and stuff. And that's been real positive too. Kevin Criswell, I'll give a call on the way out there, wishing you good luck and stuff like that means a lot to you.
Yeah. And talk about, going from having to drag the tractor off Friday night, what went into putting it back together in hopes of making a run Saturday night?
Well, I kind of laughed. I told one guy that we ran demolition derbies a lot before we did this. We're used to putting front ends on stuff. So the boys started in, and my crew, and we had it together in, I don't know, an hour or two. We had another set of tires. Luckily, we blew both tires out and, fixed the front end, and that went pretty good. And then I broke the hitch too when I jerked it. So we had to fix the hitch and a couple other things, but we got her back together and was ready to go for pull time. So that made us happy. So we just started in, and, we have a fabrication shop, so that makes it a little easier. We're used to building stuff. So my son's built all the fuel tanks, and all the brackets and everything was cut on our laser, and tanks is built here in shop and stuff. So we're in the fuel tank building business, so that makes it a little easier when it comes to that stuff.
Jason Schultz asked, did you have the Albino Buck Super Farm?
Yes, my tractor, and I sold it to Mike Connie. It was Julia's first Super Farm tractor, and now it's called Holy Smokes. It was out there running this week, and it was good to see it out there.
Yep. So let's just talk a little bit. How do we get from where you first started in your first vehicle as a tractor pulling all the way up to the unlimited class?
Yeah, my first vehicle was a 2805 Massey Ferguson V8. I pulled with Don Flowers, a neighbor of ours that had Massey Pro Stocks. That was when I bought it when I was still in college, and built it up, and actually won the Michigan State Open Farm Stock Championship in '91. And then built the Albino Buck in 05 and won Bowling Green and won the state points that year, and ran it to 08. And then the kids was getting in 4-H and everything. And then a couple years later, my brother and I bought a super modified 4-wheel drive truck, which has a blowed alcohol motor.
Yep.
It was a Benny motor with a DMP blower. So that got us learning the alcohol. That helped a lot going into the mod thing. We learned the alcohol the years we had the blowed alcohol 4-wheel drive. Of course, the kids was shown heavy, and so we didn't run the full circuit. We run 6-8 pulls a year with it, and that'd be about it. But we did learn the alcohol things. So it was just ×4 when you went to the unlimited. But we did have some blowed alcohol experience. And if Sam McCurry wouldn't help me, I probably wouldn't have done it. I got a really good engine guy that's really faithful to us, and that encouraged me to go ahead and do this. We really liked him when we had the 4-wheel drive, and that's when we decided to do the 4-engine. And we switched over to minor motors, and happy we did that.
Yep. I mean, talk about that, going from a 4-wheel drive truck all the way up to unlimited mod. That's a pretty big jump in horsepower.
So, yeah, a little over probably 4.5 times as much.
Yeah, because the technology just keeps improving. Chris Kohlbarger, what was your super modified 4-wheel drive truck called?
It was called Back for More, and now it's called the Black Widow. It's on the Ohio State circuit. Guy in our county bought it from me, and so it's still running today.
Yep.
And it was originally Roger Nelson's family affair from Illinois, his blowed alcohol truck, and before that it was Lou Shanklin's homegrown. But today Doug McKee runs it as Black Widow.
Okay.
High State circuit. So yeah, that truck had quite a history too.
Yeah. That seems to be a recurring theme, is all of your vehicles have quite the history.
It's kind of amazing how, you buy them and you pass them on, and whose vehicle was what, and once in a while you find out, you watch a vehicle for a year or two, and then you realize it was so and so's vehicle, and it's kind of neat to know. No, I feel like I got big shoes to fill. Ken Benny won national championship with that tractor. Knapp's won 3, so I don't want to let it down.
So that's some definitely big shoes to fill with that. And you guys will get it figured out, because once you get it, it's just the matter of making laps after laps with it. So running the national circuit, you guys have been around the sport long enough, and you probably hit all the big events, but if there were big events, whether it be in the States or even taking the tractor overseas, what some events that you'd like to make that maybe they don't have your class at?
Well, Bowling Green is the Mag Daddy for us. It's just Bowling Green's 45 minutes away. In our area, you don't seem like you're a professional tractor puller if you don't run at Bowling Green.
Yeah.
But no, Toma was one of my lifelong dreams to go to, and I got to do that. And Chapel Hill, Tennessee is another one that I'm always wanted to pull at. Then were 2 other ones that I've always wanted to go to. And then it's always fun to run your local county fair or something like that too. But no, Bowling Green is the reason that we want to build the tractors.
Yeah.
We have a good day up there.
And it sounds like if you're running 4 Hemis, might as well put a 5th one and stick it in a mini rod.
Well, that's in the process, but we got to get the 4 running. The boys, we already own the 5th motor. The boys are going to build a mini rod, and it's going to be called Little Frey'd.
Okay.
But we want to get the big one running first, and then the 2 boys are going to build the little one. But yeah, that's in. I don't know if it'll be a year or 2 yet, but know that we're planning on having a mini rod to go with the big one. So,
what's your guys' plans with that? Are you buying a chassis? Are you building from the ground up?
They'd like to build it. We work with Brad a lot at Modern Machine. Probably work with him. The boys may build it here in the shop, but Brad's awful good to work with. I'm sure we'll use his parts at Modern. But yeah, they'll probably build it here in the shop. They like building their own stuff, so we'll probably do that.
That's always great to see new vehicles popping up. And so that's always my question is, I mean, if it weren't for the mod, what class would you like to see yourself in?
If I wouldn't have built the mod, I'd have built a pro stock. That was up between them 2. And like I say, I had an engine guy I had so much faith in, worked good with, and that's kind of what, and found a chassis that I liked and, could afford to buy. But pro stock would be what I'd run if I wasn't running the unlimited. That would be the class. So we like the diesel stuff a lot around here too, but I also like the blowed alcohol stuff. So we like it all, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're looking forward to Bowling Green. You got a brand new tractor you just put together. I mean, that's just huge to come out swinging with the unlimited mod guys in a terribly stacked class. Who you talk about your family? Who are some other guys you'd like to thank from the motors to the?
Yeah. Well, Frank Bent and Brad Moffitt helped me a lot. Like I say, Brad Benedict, Kevin Criswell helped me a lot on the tractor, and Sam does the motors. And of course, my wife and daughters, they left me do all this too. My wife was the one that sent the check for the frame, so she's been real supportive. And you got to have a family behind you. You cannot do this by yourself. You just can't. And a team. Got to have a team of guys that know what they're doing, and they've been out here working their tails off too. And then I run SSI Superchargers. That's a good friends of Craig Sage up to SCS Gearbox. Of course, I said Brad Corporal, Chad Mayhill Pulling Tires. I'll probably forget some too along the way. There's several people that have been involved with me that have done a real nice job for me. Colton Wasserbeck made my setback manifolds for me. They look really nice on the tractor. Adam Kester's been good to get parts from, sent me parts right out to help me out. There's others too. I just can't even think of them all, but everybody I've dealt with has been real good, got us parts when we needed them, and been real fun to work with all the different vendors and get to know them and everything.
So before we round stuff out, fans, any questions that you've got for Nathan Frey and the Totally Frey'd Unlimited mod? He's the guy to ask right here, right now. So coming in, you're looking at the track, rained out session 1 of Toma, and then the track's just saturated all the way up until it finally seemed to dry out Saturday day. They were shutting you down real fast Saturday night, and you looked to be up in the mix if it weren't for that chalk line there Saturday night.
Yeah.
What's some changes you're looking at moving forward? I know you mentioned some stuff with the way the chassis works. Anything else power drivetrain wise?
Yeah, we haven't even we got more power in the stable. We just haven't even opened it up yet. We figured we'd learn how to drive it, a few other things. It's got more. But no, we got to get more weight up the front, get it pulling straight. It's two of the biggest things. That's two of the things we're really going to work on here, and more just seat time, just getting used to it, and it getting used to me, I guess. So,
yeah.
So yeah, just bend the throttle, I guess, and go hard. But no, it's a little harder than others. Like 4-wheel drive didn't come up at all, or the Super Farm I could see down the side. When this thing goes up in the air, all you see is 4 engines.
Yeah.
That's all you can see. So you want to have used to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, Friday night when I pulled out on the track, it was spongy. I mean, my front wheels was sinking. The tractor didn't even want to move, not even up to the sled. I never pulled on that spongy track. I don't blame the guys. They was just doing what they could do to have a pull up there for the fans and stuff. It was just Mother Nature wasn't kind to them up there. But no, all in all, we gathered everything up and, going to work harder to improve and try to get competitive with a tough field of, unlimited. That Saturday night class I just thought was unbelievably good myself. I mean, that was a tough field. There's, like I say, there's 12 guys out there with good machines and years of pulling experience, and it's just exciting to be out there beside them, to be honest. Got a lot of respect for guys in the class.
So where are we going to see you next on the Grand National Circuit and on the local regional stuff?
We're heading down to Marion Wednesday night for a practice hook. They're going to let us hook just for another practice hook, and then we're off to Chapel Hill, going to another Grand National hook. So I'll have one more practice hook before I go there, and we'll be at it with all them guys again. So just see what we can do.
So swinging for the fences.
Yep, that's the way we like to fly. So yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm excited to see you guys get out there and make some waves in the national unlimited class. So all in all, Nathan, I hope you have a great rest of your night up there. Any last remarks? Anything you'd like to say, pass some knowledge and wisdom on?
No, not really. Just I really enjoy the guys I'm pulling with. Unlimited is really helpful, like I said before. And my sons, Ashton and Caden, did just a stellar job putting it together, and our other crew guys and everybody stepping in to help you out. That's the only thing you can't do an unlimited by yourself. You need a lot of good people to help you, and I've got that, and that's what I guess that's probably the most fun of it is everybody working together. I enjoy that the most, and talking to the other pullers and stuff. They was all friendly, and a lot of them come down and introduce themselves and stuff, even from other classes and stuff. And that was really neat. I've really enjoyed all that so far. So
So it was great sit here and talk with you. Best of luck on the rest of your season. You've got a big one ahead of you, and have a great rest of your night, Nathan.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Bye.
Kinsey, let's roll the videos of his passes one more time. There you go, folks. The one, the only